Hey guys, Mono here with a little preview of the upcoming update 15 courtesy of the PTE, the player test environment that started today and will continue to run through the entire weekend. This current build brings a bunch of changes to the game, primarily to Mortain, which is the new map releasing with this update, but also Saint-Marie du Mont, which is SMDM. However, let's talk first about the biggest change, which is a bit of a stealth update because it's not really mentioned in the notes. It's kind of glossed over, and that's the fact that the assets for the bushes and hedgerows have been changed. Well, at least for both Mortain and SMDM. If I'm not pronouncing Mortain correctly, then I'm sorry, guys. Alright, this leads me to believe that this change is in the raw asset and not a map-specific change, because it is in both maps, so I doubt that they individually changed every single asset in SMDM. These new bushes and hedgerows are a lot different from the ones we currently have in the game. They are way more see-through, allowing you to clearly see the enemies running behind them, and you can also easily shoot through them. I cannot overstate what a massive change this gives rise to in terms of gameplay mechanics and map design. Several alleys that you could previously use to safely reach an objective are just no longer safe. Before, the bushes acted as a wall, well, they are now more like a curtain, meaning machine guns and tanks especially will have an absolute field day with these changes. I honestly don't know how I feel about this. It's such a big difference, which really needs to be tested thoroughly across several maps, because there's something cool about it conceptually. I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, that's how bushes should work in real life, right? But there's also the issue that every map in the game was designed around the fact that hedgerows blocked bullets and projectiles. So when you change that, it fundamentally changes every single map in the game that uses these assets. I'm thinking Carentan, SME, Utah Beach, Omaha Beach, and several more. One issue that must be resolved should these assets actually make it into the game is the fact that there's a very hard limit of an LOD change, seemingly around 100 meters, where these assets go from full cover to see-through. It's very noticeable, not gradual at all, and produces oddly unbalanced situations where someone in a bush can clearly see you, but you can't see them, and it's not very good. Now, before everyone cries out in anger over this, keep in mind that's what the PTE is for. Make sure to leave your feedback, try it out if you can, if you're on PC, and give proper feedback to the devs through the official channels. They do take this into account and they do care about this. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about Mortain. It's honestly hard to know how much has changed since the previous version that I played of this map, but there are very noticeable differences in the fact that there are a lot of open houses around the town area now, both intact houses and destroyed ones. I haven't been in a round yet where the fighting reached the town, and that's the biggest issue that I have with this map and with the idea behind maps like this in general, which is the location of the town. I get that that's what, you know, they were trying to defend in the war, so it makes kind of sense that it's the last point, but it's the last defensible point for the Americans, which means you'll play it maybe once every 6 or 8 times that you play this map. The Germans have to be winning 4-1. That's, let's say that happens, you know, 50% of the chance the Germans are winning. Ideally it should be 50-50. If you're winning 4-1, that's already a subset of that, and then there's the 1 in 3 chance of that point actually being the one you need to fight over. That's a huge shame considering how awesome this town area is. If any devs are watching this video, please next time you make a map, make sure you put the town area or whatever the main attraction of the map is, put that in the middle of the map so you get to fight over it every single time. They correctly added the Oasis area to El Alamein to address that point, I think, and it's been done very, very well. So yeah, it's probably way too late to change this for Mortain, but I wish I could just grab the map and yank it to the right, because it would be so much better. Apart from the changes to the town area, there are many changes to the surrounding fields. There is a lot more foliage, a lot more cover, which plays very well, but it also gives these areas, it turns them into a bit of a forest map kind of vibe where you can get shot from many angles and there's lots of places to hide in. I like this map. It's very different from other maps with similar concepts, like SMDM for example. SMDM is a lot more open, and while this does have open fields, it's hard to shoot into those fields from outside. If that makes sense, due to the amount of foliage and the level geometry. SMDM, by the way, also saw major changes. There's a new night mode, which completely changes the way the map is played, and that is a really good thing. That should be the reason why you make these variations to the current maps, to completely change the experience. There's a very thick fog that's present throughout the entire map. Your visibility is like 50 or 100 meters at most, depending on where you are, and it means it's a lot easier to flank across an open field, and you have way more focused, almost scary close range combat around the strong points. Both this version and the skirmish version, however, have this area that's off to the west, where there's a big mansion with a big garden that's always been closed off, with only the outer garden being accessible. Well, that area is now open. So that's a fairly large portion of the map that's kind of new and provides a stronger defensive position to whoever takes it. It also means you can go directly from the road into the back garden instead of having to fight from either the north or the south side, which I thought was always kind of annoying in that area. It's a pretty significant change that I really enjoyed. I think it will create much more interesting encounters around this portion of the map than the ones we had before. Alright, you can check out the full notes on the PTE on the link down in the video description, but those I believe are the most significant changes to note. You still can't go into the churches in Mortain, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna stay that way, but I don't think it impacts the map in a negative way, considering everything else that you already have in those areas. Remember, this PTE will run through the entire weekend, so make sure you hop in, give these maps a try, and provide feedback to the devs. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know down in the comment section what you think if you tried out the PTE, and as always, thank you for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next one.